YouTube. And there we are, Zulma Gonzalez. Thank you for being here. This mic is all yours, my friend.
Oh gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. I am so thankful to be able to be here. I was thinking, just thinking, it was last Thursday I wasn't here. My God, it's only been a week. Only a week. It seemed like forever because I was going to, talk about the fact just briefly that, Lovable is now on phenobarbital because last Thursday, it was just a week ago. My gosh. Um, he decided right around 8:27, yes, Thursday morning, that he wanted to go into four experiences back to back within a half hour. Awful, awful to watch. And if you want to know what pain looks like, watch something like that happen. You see the pain, you hear the pain, the screaming, and no, no, not doing that. We're not doing that. But he's I don't know what's supposed to be different, except that it's, from what I understand, it's supposed to reduce the severity and quantity of those epileptic experiences. And I only have one day at a time to go by, so, and one moment at a time, and I have to keep reminding myself of that because I felt myself going into a downward space, and I realized that when a person is going into depression, they don't realize that they're going into depression because it's all about not guarding the thoughts. I get that. I'm talking out loud. It's just as I'm saying it as it's coming to me. um not guarding my thoughts because I got into the place I didn't want to leave my doggy, and wait a minute, but you have to go to work. Oh, but I don't want to leave my doggy, and what about, and oh my God, now he's on this medication, and all of that. And I thought I had it, I thought I knew what it was, and maybe I did, could be something that, once it was triggered, there it is. But every response we make is determined by what we think we are. Does that apply to him too? I don't know. Um, uh, but in any event, I found myself going into a downward spot. And so Sunday I went to hang out with my godson's family. They had a pool party. And it took everything in me to, I was like, oh man, I know it's a good time. Oh, I know that I did finally go. It was from 2 to 7. I got there close to 4:30, almost on 5 o'clock, because it took me that long to just pick myself up, to talk myself out of whatever it was I was letting myself, get into. But because it wasn't a good place. It really wasn't. Um, and I would sit here with my phone and just play this one game. I would rather read a book. I mean, the me that I love to be would rather read a book, would rather go do some research, would rather grab the course, would rather get an aha, oh my gosh, oh look at that. Would rather, listen to Karen on YouTube, things like this. Um, and I said that for a reason, Karen, because you brought up a workbook lesson that got my attention. That reminded me of another workbook lesson, um, and that was 223. You brought up you did lesson 223, and I thought sounds like lesson 86. Um, anyhow, um, but that's what I would rather be doing, and yet here I was just sitting here on this sofa, just sitting here with the phone. Where's the phone? Who knows where the phone is now? He's probably laying on it. He does that. He'll lay on the phone. I think he thinks he can hide it from me. Anyway, um, and just sat here. Whenever I didn't have to do something, feeding him, making sure the pill was in the medication, and I mean making sure the pill was in the food, which he has no problem with because it's food. He Lovable thinks that it's a seafood diet. He sees food, he eats it. Period. He's not that kind of dog. If he was, and maybe it's best because if he was, I would start to think he's self-sufficient. I uh you know how some dogs you put the food down and they can go forever, hours, go eat some, come back, eat some more. Not this thing. He's always looking for food. No, you would think I don't feed him. I tell him, stop it. We're outside. Stop embarrassing me trying to eat stuff on the ground. Trash. No trash. We don't eat trash. Um, oh yeah, Karen. He tries to get all my attention. This is his new one. I'm like, oh boy, if you don't stop that, he knows. He knows. He knows. It's fantastic. Let me say good morning to Dove and McKaylee and Karen and Mickey and Bob, hello, love, and Lynn and Sally and Sharon and whoever's out there listening in listening land, Katia, I suppose you're out there somewhere. I don't know. And whoever else, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful day, grand rising and thankful Thursday and good morning and all that to each and every only one of us. Okay, that's it. No more about lovable. Oh, and I went to the beach yesterday. I went to the beach. I went to Ocean City, New Jersey. Um, the center of peace, the center of that's a the center of peace, TCP. The center of peace. We have something we call beyond the four walls. So once a month in June, July, and August, they go to the beach. I can't see myself. This light is not as. Let's see if I can brighten this a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, it is better. Okay. Um, uh, to the beach, and my baby girl and I, my goddaughter, or I call my goddaughter down the street, um, she and I drove down yesterday, and there were 17 of us there, including Reverend Twana and a whole bunch of us, and it was just a lot of fun. Um, and I was talking to myself the whole time about this whole thing about, letting myself go into a place. No, do something to get every response I make is determined by what I think I am. And if I think I'm a body, and if I think he's a body, and if I think, that I'm supposed to, be in a slump and I'm supposed to be down, I'm supposed to be depressed, I'm supposed to keep people away, and if I keep thinking that way, then so it is. My next door neighbor's son, I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago, decided to take his physical life. And now the very things that I'm talking about here, that we talk about here, I'm talking about with him. And this morning I was reading Joel Goldsmith. Oh, I have got to find that. Uh-oh, where'd you put the phone? Maybe the phone's upstairs, which means I have to find my tablet because I have to find this reading from Joel Goldsmith about forgiveness. And um, so my neighbor's telling me that, he's having difficulty sleeping and all that. And I said, it's understandably. I mean, I said, you have had a relationship. Hi, Roger. Welcome. Good to see you. Um, he's still tuning in. He's not hearing me yet. Anyway, he, his son was 62, physically 62 years old. I said, you've had a relationship with this young man for 62 years. It's not something that, all of a sudden you're just gonna be able to let go. No. I said, and all kind of thoughts are going through, I've gone through, and I speak in plural. I speak in plural because I don't like that you thing. I don't. I love when the course does that. Even when the course does that to me, I want to like slap the course, don't talk to me that way. What do you mean it's not me? Um, um, when the course called me inconsistent, you hear me. The course told me that I was inconsistent in that section about means and ends. It says if you don't want the means, what is it? If you don't want the means to the ends, then why don't you just admit that you're inconsistent? Like, how dare you talk to me that way? Damn. um, anyway, so I'm talking to him and I'm speaking in the plural and I'm saying, I says, we have all these thoughts and we have all these feelings and we don't realize that it's our thoughts that's happening. It's not the thing. I said, that thing occurred that one time. I said, and we're taking ourselves to the pain as if it's happening over and over and over again. And I'm, just talking the very things that we talk about here, the very things that I say over and over again. It's not the thing, it's what we think about the thing. And I'm talking to him about that. I'm talking to him about the importance of forgiveness. Sarah, I said, it's the craziest thing. I said, how someone, decides to do something like that, and we blame ourselves. We think that somehow it was our fault because you had a conversation the night before, and we think that we were supposed to say something. I said it happens the way it happens. I said I'm not even, and I just told him this morning, it's not even it happens the way it's supposed to. It happens the way it happens. I said, and our mistake is that we start going into wish world. We wish it hadn't happened. We start thinking about how it should have happened, how that shouldn't have happened. If only I had, and we do all that if stuff, and we take ourselves through all that, and we're causing ourselves pain. Certainly not helping the person who's no longer on the planet. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help anyone. We're taking ourselves through misery. We think we deserve it. We think somebody has to be guilty. Somebody has to pay. And they can't because they're gone. Oh, then they're guilty. They shouldn't have done that. If only they, we do all this to ourselves. So this is the conversation I was just having less than an hour ago with my neighbor who says he's having trouble sleeping. And we talked about that. I said, but don't beat yourself up about it. I said, it comes. I said, were you awake all night? He said, no, I got a couple hours. I said, be grateful for those couple hours. Just be grateful for that. I said, and the more gratitude that you have for those couple, another one will come, a half hour will come, 15 more minutes will come. I says, and before you know it, you'll be telling me how you slept all night long. And, I said, and sir, I keep looking for you every morning, so you better wake up, that kind of thing. Karen, go ahead, my love.
Thanks for sharing that, Zulma. And he's so lucky to have you as his neighbor to talk to and to guide and to be that positive energy for him right now, because that's a tough one. And it's so interesting when you said that, people want to blame themselves and feel guilty because that is the truth of the truth. And when someone commits suicide, I know from my experience, it wasn't just me. I talked to several people who knew my husband, including my daughter and including his son and lots of friends, and they all felt the same way. And it's just this feeling that we get like it's our fault. And I think that's that tiny mad idea that stems from the belief that we could be separate from God. All of it stems from that. But the thing that you shared that hit me the most was that it is what it is, and the script is written. We cannot stop the script from happening. We can only change our minds about the script. We can't change the script. We change our minds about the script. Ken says you can't change the script, you change teachers. And that's the same thing. So what I learned about these hardships that happen, that they're all here to teach us the lessons that we came to learn. And it really, I think, makes us stronger when we realize that these things happen for us, not to us. And when we can get through this, then we recognize that everything's happening perfectly. Everything's happening for the greatest good. We can't see it now, but if you just hang in there, Bob and I were just talking about hang in there, like that visual of the cat hanging on the tree, hang in there, hang in there. It does get better with trusting the Holy Spirit, faith, knowing that all things really do work together for good. It takes a while. It's not easy. I mean, any death of a loved one isn't easy, but I feel your neighbor, and I'm so grateful that he has you to be there for him. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Um, I appreciate that. So Cliff has been there. Oh my God. He celebrated his 90th birthday, 29th of June. And I've known him for years and years and years. And you talk about being grateful for him, for him, for me. But, I remember when mommy was going through her experience, and when I was going through my experience with my mother. We're talking 2008 when she passed, and and it was just mommy and me here, and how Cliff was there for me, um and he's always there. He likes buying um he exotic foods and stuff. He orders stuff, and I've tasted some stuff that not even going to discuss, but he's and he says, I said, so what'd you season it with, Cliff? He says, I use my special blend of herbs and spices. I am grateful for Cliff. And now, and every morning now he asks me, how's my little boy doing? He's asking about Lovable every single day. How's he doing? um we'll sit outside, Lovable and I, because Lovable doesn't always want to go for a walk. He lets me know he wants to go out. So I'm thinking I'll leash him up and everything, and we go outside, and he sits on the top step, just sits there. So then I go grab his cooling pad so he can lay comfortably. He'll sit, and we'll sit there, and Cliff will come out, and the three of us will sit out there. He sits out there more now, sit with Lovable than ever. It's real cool. And he's not alone at the house, but anyway. Look, Karen, thank you for saying that. All right, let's get on with this. Let's get on with this because I can, you know, you know. Um, let's see if we got some slides today. Let's see what happens. Little something, little something. A reminder that this is A Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind and other metaphysical teachings, and they're the names of some, but not hardly all of the teachers from where a lot of what we actually study, can be found. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the fact that the Course in Miracles, to me, to Zulma, is the last book. It's a combination of other things that I've read. It's like it grabbed this and that. I don't how it came. Grab this and that and this, and from this source and that other source, and and put it in one book, so that for me, for Zulma, and I know, I don't know how you see the course. I'm not asking how you see the course, and what you think is not even my business. So, but I'm saying that for me, it's the first book I grabbed, but it's not the only book I grabbed. Um, Course in Miracles, I find through Joel Goldsmith, I find through Ernest Holmes, I find through Ruth Miller, and so many others. I find the Raymond Charles Barker. I find the work um, that is in the course. I also find it on the cognitive behavioral therapy website. I hear it in motivational speakers because there's only one source. Let's be clear. One source. And ultimately, and I believe it's the course that says, if ultimately, if the goal isn't, if the teaching isn't about peace, if the teaching isn't about love, if the teaching isn't about knowing thyself, then it's really not a teaching at all. It's not teaching you anything. Resign from that teacher, because this is, I mean, we all want to be the best that we are. We all want to, whether we act it out or not. I mean, we at least think there's something in us, that creative urge, as Ernest Holmes says. We all have that creative urge. We are created to create, the course teaches. So all these these different names, and you can open almost any page and find, oh yeah, I read that in the course. Oh yeah, I read that in the course. I remember when I first uh, started reading Science of Mind, when I first got involved with religious science, and I would read something and say, oh, that's in the course. Oh yeah, they got he quote, oh, this was me quoting myself now. Oh, he got that from the course. Oh, he got that from the course. And then when I discovered that Ernest Holmes he passed in 1960. Tim Goldsmith passed in 1964. These people had already come and gone before Helen started receiving before she started hearing the voice. And Helen's mother and Joel Goldsmith both studied Christian Science. In fact, Joel Goldsmith studied Christian Science he was a Christian Scientist for 16 years. So a lot of um, what I find in the course, I found in other places, as y'all are discovering now with since you're reading Joel Goldsmith on a regular basis and other teachings as well. Come on, Lobo, don't fall. Be comfortable. There we go. Um, so yeah. Um, so it doesn't so ultimately names don't matter. And I love what Lynn said about um that it's the ego. The ego is reading these books. Spirit doesn't need a book. Spirit doesn't need a workbook lesson. Spirit doesn't have to be reminded of anything. Spirit is. I am that I am. Spirit is, always has been. It's spirit is the isness of it all. All this other stuff, so, and it's important, in my opinion, to remember that, I'm not going to sit and somebody wants to debate with me about, well, science of mind and A Course in Miracles may say the same thing, and this is A Course in Miracles purist, uh, they say the same thing, but they don't mean the same thing. And I say, how do you know? The course talks about the different the levels, level. I said, and how do you know? We don't. The term level confusion or levels 1 and level 2 is not in the Science of Mind textbook. Level 1 and level 2 is not in the writings of Joel Goldsmith. Level 1 and level 2 is not in the writings of Emma Curtis Hopkins. And does that not mean that it's not level 1 and level 2 anyway? Spirit, level 1. Spirit in the invisible. Level 1 in the invisible. Level 1. Now, we can't see love. We don't see love. We see the effects of love. The effects is level 2. Love is level 1. We don't see spirit, but we see the effects of spirit. Level, it's still all levels. So when people talk about um and I read it, if we're praying for things, um then we've missed the mark. Now I understand clearly but it's important to understand. Seek first the kingdom. That's how it's written in the Bible. First, seek ye first the kingdom, and then all of the kingdom of God, and then all these other things will be added unto you. So if I am seeking the kingdom, if I am seeking to remember the truth of what I am, if I am seeking to remember that God, the Father and I are one, that I and the Father are one, that God's will and my will is one will, if I am seeking that, and I'm talking about simply engaging as the Course teaches, if I am seeking that, it's okay to decide when I totaled my car in January, that the next car I wanted something I wanted equal to or better than what I had. That's okay. Now, I'm not out there. I am not that person who's out there, standing there just looking at my car and idolizing that car and worshiping that car and thinking that that car is everything. Doing that. No, I recognize it's a tool. All of it is tools. Everything I can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch are tools. My body is a tool. I get that. So it's not that it's not okay. I mean, I I don't hear I don't hear most people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna settle for let's go to the restaurant and eat." Okay, all right. Have a date next month to go to a restaurant. We're not gonna go look at the menu and say, well, even though I don't like it, I don't like how it tastes. I'm going to order the least expensive thing on the menu because I don't deserve. We don't do that. We don't do that. We do what's considered to the best of our ability. We are given, the Course talks about littleness versus magnitude. It's not talking about, that whole thing of littleness. It's the ego's way of the ego thought system of saying I'm better than or not as good as and all that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. We're not talking about that. We're not even talking about food. I'm talking about the importance of recognizing what we are. Every response we make, you know what? That's one of my slides. Let me just go on and do that. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. But before we go, I see Karen's hand. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I love what you're sharing about prayer and, true prayer, um, reminds us that we already have everything. Like you said, having and being are the same. But I think the point of true prayer is, well, he tells us that the secret of true prayer is to forget the things you think you need because we think we know what's best for us. We think we know what we want. But the Song of Prayer says prayer is a stepping aside, a letting go, a quiet time of listening. So really, you said it. Everything you said was correct. And what we're really asked to do is to ask the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit knows our needs. We don't. We don't know. And I'm very honest. I I won't lie and say I don't pray for things, and it's not as nothing like it used to be. And as you said, it is not my salvation. I am not a completely uh, absolved of that. But I know that I don't know my own best interest. I don't know what anything is for. And when I think I do, that's when I need to step back and say, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And what do you think about this? What's your take on it? Because I know my take is usually for the wrong reasons. But yeah, thanks.
Good point. Good point. When we vision, we what we call visioning. The first question is always, what is God's highest and best for me in this situation? Because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. When I went to the car, using my car as an example, when I went to the dealership, I went looking for something else, and was shown something that, oh, and you just know, that you get that, but and and I was told, and it's going to cost more, and I was like, uh-huh, uh-huh, I'll take that. And I didn't think about, I really didn't. And it's okay. I didn't think about, so where's the quote quote extra money going to come from? Well, it's if it's all God, hear me out. If it's all God, I was taught that money is God informed, just like I am God informed, just like everything is God informed. If it's all God, what's excluded? Now, this is, and I'm not saying, I'm not talking about the impermanence. I'm not talking about the impermanence of it. I got that. I got that. But since all things are possible in God, all things are possible in God, and we're taught that we are in God and all things are in God, it's all in God, Zulma talking, then God, it's possible for the impermanent to be here until it's gone. If that's not true, then nothing survives its purpose. Nothing survives its purpose. So that these things that don't survive their purpose are here. I'm here. You're here. This computer's here. The car's here. It's here. But it comes to go. It comes to pass. It comes to pass. Not forgetting, as Karen just said, not forgetting the truth of it all. It's supposed to come to pass. This little doggy. I have to remember, and I've said it, and I'll say it again, and I keep reminding myself: be connected but not attached. Be connected but not attached. Be connected but not attached, because we don't know. We don't know. We're not supposed to know. That's why it's called the unknown. It's called the unknown. We're not supposed to know. All right. All right. Hola, paz en cada aliento. I don't know who that is, but Hola. Anyway, um, so we should daily train our thought. I haven't seen this slide in a long time, and I was going to add to it. I thought I did. I did. We should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think. Everything, everything we do, everything we say, everything we think. Recognize the spirit in everything we do, everything we say, everything we think. That means everything I see. Recognize the spirit. Recognize the spirit. Be willing to look beyond that. Be willing to look beyond. It's written. Don't judge by appearances. Look beyond what you see. There's always more to it. My little pea brain can only see so much. Daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. There's no other way. And to try any other way would be to make a complete failure, because that would be trying to do something outside of God, and that's not possible. There's only God. To learn how to think, Dr. Ernest Holmes teaches, is to learn how to live. The course reminds us that this is a course in mind training, and all learning involves attention and study at some level, and an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. So it's not, I sit here for, this period of time, and then I get off and I go about and go about the rest of the quote rest of my life for a week, and then show up, Thursday morning, and don't bother to study anything, and don't bother to practice anything, and don't bother to read anything. And wait a minute. Zulma talking. I mean, to each his own. To each his own. I can't. I have to practice. I have to recognize the spirit in everything I do, say, and think. That's how I train my mind. That's how I'm paying attention. That's how I can accomplish something. I'm training my mind. Joe Goldsmith says you govern your surroundings by the nature of what is taking place in your consciousness. Because what's happening out there is coming from in here. We know this. We know this. Sometimes. Sometimes we forget. We know it. We forget. We forget. And Dr. Ernest wrote that to deny the truth, mm, to deny the truth in the moment of need is to realize that you really don't know the truth. Ouch. Um, because if in the moment when things are feeling crazy, that's when that review lesson after lesson 50 comes in to remind us. It says it's not when things are, sweet and all good and wonderful that we need this learning. It's when things are chaotic, seem chaotic, when things are, when Lovable's having those experiences. That's the time to remember. That's the time to remember that I can still, in the midst of it all, still hold my peace. In the midst of it all, to know that it's temporary. In the midst of it all, to remember that God is still God, and that I and the Father are one, and that Lovable and the Father are one. That the essence, the truth of what this dog is, the essence, the truth of what I am, is not this body or that body. That's not the truth with a capital T. This is something that comes to pass. You govern your surroundings by the nature of what is taking place in your consciousness, what's in here, out there. And lastly, um, Christian D. Larson, who says we naturally become master over all life when we can understand and master the process of thinking. All right. Let's get past all this. Every response you make, you'll hear it from me every time. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. What you want to be is what you think you are. And the reason why that's so is because if what I'm wanting to be in this moment, I am that in this moment. I am however I'm perceiving myself to be in this moment, that's who I am, or that's what I am in this moment. No, the truth is I am always spirit. That's unchanging. But But if in this moment I think that I'm poor, in this moment I think that I'm depressed, in this moment I think that I'm sad, or in this moment I think that life is great. In this moment I think that I'm the the most wonderful thing on the planet. In this moment, that's what I am, because that's what I'm living in this moment. Took me a long time to understand that part of the sentence, that what you want to be is what you think you are. And it continues, what you want to be then must determine every response you make. What I want to be must determine every response you make. So, granted, this course is not a course in doing, it's a course in being. But as a result of being from the inside, then quite naturally, my physical being, my physical doing, because Regis always says that we are spiritual beings and physical and human doings. The human part of me will behave in a certain way. The course says that what we do comes from what we think. We can't, so we can't get by it. We can't ignore the doing part of it. We can't, because it's essential. Let all things be exactly as they are. I'm coming from different places today. I have a lot in my head going on. Let me not be your critic, Lord, today, and judge against you. Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms. And the other another lesson, I think it's 313, which says, my mind is sick. It's just sick. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes, because wish world is not a real place. Thus saith Zulma. Wish world is not a real place. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity, because everything is just one, one, one. Let me not try to make it two and three and four and separate and tear the petals off the rose to try to find the beauty of it. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity, and thus to let it be as you created it. For thus will I be able to recognize what I really am, my capital S self, as you created me. In love was I created, and in love will I remain forever. What can frighten me? What can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are? Because when I'm letting it be exactly what it is, when I'm letting it be exactly what it is, I'm not judging it. I'm not trying to make it be something other than what it is. I'm not saying, oh, a person is coming down the street. That is. It's not, oh, person is coming down the street. Man, look at them. They look pretty ragged, man. Oh my God. Oh, shit, I could hold my pocketbook a little tighter because, see, I've set myself into fear, setting myself up. Dr. Ernest writes, I'll keep going. Dr. Ernest writes, there's a great difference in believing God to be within you or outside you. For if God is outside you, how are you going to reach this God who, not being some part of you, must be separated from you? In other words, back to that, no God and. There's no and. It's not God is over there or up there. Oh, God up there sitting on a cloud with Jesus sitting on his hand. So I have to say that when I went to Catholic school, so I learned the Nicene Creed, the Apostles' Creed, and in the Apostles' Creed, there's that line that Jesus sitteth at the right hand of God. But I always thought that at the right hand of God meant on the right hand of God. Because something in me knew then. The cloud, you can't sit on a cloud. You can't just sit there and just float. So you had to be sitting on God's hand. Anyway, um, how do you reach this God not being some part of you? How are you going to reach this God who, not being some part of you, must be separated from you? It says here part, but we know ultimately there are no parts. In the course, it says part. It does. There are no parts. See, the course is written to the ego. The course is written to for us it's written in two levels, actually. It's written in two levels, but it's written for, for me to get it, I have to see the words. How about that? These words that I see, are temporary. When they serve no purpose, they won't either. The course itself says, forget this course. So we talk parts because this part is called Zulma, and this part next to me is called Lovable, and everything else, all these parts. But the truth is that it's still the same air I breathe is the same air you breathe. The same spirit that moves me moves you, not spirits, plural, not evil spirits and good spirit. Oh, that's another one. Um, huh. How can you hope to unite things which are different from each other? But the God who is already within you, being forever perfect and complete, needs no reunion with anyone. And you need no reunion with this God because this God already is in every act, every thought, every movement, in your every plan, purpose, and performance. I love that. I love that. And I love how um, Ruth L. Miller, she says that you are the God of your understanding. Now that kind of, it feels a little like, am I saying that I'm God? I'm saying it's all God. So what's excluded? What's excluded? What is excluded? It's all God expressing in its own unique way. It breathes me, it moves me, and I'm expressing in my unique way, as are you. And I'm grateful for it. I've learned to be grateful for it. It's not the person coming down the street looking tattered, looking ragged, looking whatever. It's just the person coming down the street. Another expression, another extension of God. It's all God. All right, I'm going to go into you know what? Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go into what Karen, she did workbook lesson 223 the other day, um, on, on YouTube, and I hope you all know that Karen is doing that. She's doing the workbook lessons. She I remember when Karen she didn't barely knew how to turn a computer on, and now she's on YouTube. I'm just so impressed. I'm so proud of you, my Karen. I am so proud of you. Uh, um, that's two. Okay, here we go. So Karen she was talking about workbook lesson 223, and I heard her, I was listening to it. I was mistaken. Oh, the workbook lesson 223, God is my life. I have no life but his. That's the title of the workbook lesson. 223 reads, I was mistaken when I thought I lived apart from God, a separate entity that moved in isolation, unattached, and housed within a body. Now I know my life is God's. I have no other home, and I do not exist apart from him. He has no thoughts that are not part of me, and I have none but those which are of him. And I just realized that the second passage from the course that I put there was not what I intended to put there. What I actually intended to put there was from Ernest Holmes, who wrote, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That's what lesson sentence 2 says. Now I know that my life is God's. God's life is my life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. The workbook lesson says, God is my life. I have no life but his. I have no life. I'm coming down again. This is and wait, and not just my life. Let me not just limit this to my life. God is your life. This is for me to know. God is your life, that you have no life but his. And God is my life. I have no life but his. There is only one life. That life is God's life. Sentence 2 said, I know that my life is God's. I have no other home and I don't exist apart from him. There's no place else. There is no and. Back to Joe Goldsmith. There is no God and no and. So every time I look at you and I think, oh, she's or he's every time I do that, I'm giving myself a chance to forget. The sleep of forgetfulness is the unwillingness to remember, the Course teaches. I keep being, I'm unwilling to remember. Oh, my. Unwilling to remember the truth of what I am. Because when I remember the truth of what I am, I have to remember the truth of what you are. Not I am this and you are that. Go ahead, my Karen.
Right on, sister. Yeah, that reminds me of lesson 167. There is one life, and that I share with God. That's lesson 167. And it's so similar. The very first paragraph is so similar to there is no love but God's. Because in the lesson, there is no love but God's. He says there you think there's different kinds of love, you know? And then he goes into all the different kinds of special love we think is love. But in this one, he says, there are not different kinds of life, for life is like the truth. It does not have degrees. It is the one condition in which all that God created share. Like all his capital T thoughts, it has no opposite. There is no death because what God created shares his life. There is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. There is no death because the Father and the Son are one.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. It's just one. It's just one. But see, as Lynn reminded us, the Course was written, the ego's involved because the Course numerous times will use the word part. Not just the Course, others also, part. That word part of God. That we are part of God. And that's a level 2 statement. That's a level 2 statement. Here are level 1 statements. There's not different kinds of life, and you're talking about 127, Karen, 120, I believe it's 127, about the love, one kind of love. There's no love with God. There's only one love. There's only one. There's only one anything. There's only one. We keep trying to make it different, make it separate. There are not different kinds of life. There's only one. There's only one. There is only one. The Father and the Son are one. We are one. In fact, that's still the ego, because Father, Son, that's not separate either. We can call it, Irma, Zulma. It's not separate. Not separate at all. One with. I'm one with this. It's not separate. It's not separate. Uh, yeah, it's just not separate. So the passage that I had found was basically about looking for things, trying to find salvation in different places. It wasn't. It's one of my favorite. Oh, I know why I looked at that. It was based on the very first part of 223, which says, I was mistaken when I thought I lived apart from God. Coming down to the from workbook lesson 86, it says, it is senseless for me to search wildly about for salvation. Searching wildly. I've seen it in many people and in many things, but when I reached for it, it wasn't there. I was mistaken. That's what it was. I was mistaken about where it is. I was mistaken about what it is. I will undertake no more idle seeking. Why? Because it's all one. What I'm looking for, Ernest Holmes wrote that what I'm looking for, I'm looking with. What I'm looking for, I'm looking with. Being everything means having everything. So we think, I'll speak for myself, I think that I am looking for something out there to save me. But there's nothing to be saved from. I was going to say I'm already saved. There's nothing to be saved from. What I'm looking for is what I'm looking with. I'm it. I wrote I gave a talk for the centerpiece titled Love is Here and Tag You're It. And this morning my friend Barbara brought it to my remembrance. She said that when she heard that, it was an aha for her. Love is here and tag you're it. God is love. Tag you're it. It's all love. Tag you're it. There is nothing else. In chapter 6, it says, teach only love. Teach only love, for that is what you are. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. All right, I found something else. I don't know when I found this particular passage, and I don't know what it's going to say. So let's do this. Let's see. Let's see what I've got here. Because of our false education, this is Neville Goddard. Because of our false education, we have accepted our human personality as our real self and have never looked within, but rather have looked outside, putting our faith in, quote, princes, in political preference, influence, or in the accident of birth. With the revelation of our true identity, we realize that the capital S self of us is God. Here we go, back to that. The self of us is God. The Father and Son are one. There is no separate anything. It's not part. It's not even part. It's written that way, but that's to help us get it. To help us get it. There's sweet potatoes and sweet potato pie, or pumpkin and pumpkin pie. The sweet potato is not separate from the sweet potato pie. It's part. It's what together, along with the other ingredients, is what make it the pie. Mm. The self of us is God, and therefore we can reach down into this, I love this word, withinness, and find ourselves one with the vine, one with our divine selfhood. The moment that contact is established, it is as if a voice said, I am with you. I am going before you. I will be your bread, your meat, your wine. I will appear outwardly as your opportunity, as your companionship, as your home, as your safety, and as your security. I will do all things for you. In the Bible is written, um, look at the birds and the flowers. Oh, the flowers. They don't toil or spin. They don't, go about, seeking for where their sustenance is coming from. But it's provided. It's provided. Because like everything, it's everything. It's already, the isness of it is supplied by the allness too. Likewise for us, that what I was reading continues. Now, we no longer look to parents, children, neighbors, friends, brothers, or sisters, we look within ourselves, make contact. The habit of engaging with God. We look within ourselves, make contact, and then are patient until the flow begins to come from within, pouring forth as the without. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. After that, we do not have to depend on those outside us, but rather we can share with them. I just thought about that movie, Jerry Maguire, that "You Complete Me" thing. Nuh-uh. Already complete. Already complete. There's only one life. That life is God life, and it's perfect, it's whole, and it's complete. He says, after that, Neville Goddard continues, we do not have to depend on those outside us, but rather we can share with them out of this infinite capital S storehouse until they are, until they, in their turn, learn the infinite nature of their own being and begin to draw on it. That makes me think of a song we sing at the center. And it simply goes, oh, you know what? I just realized I wasn't sharing. I meant to share. I thought I was sharing. I wasn't. So you see, so that you can see it. Um, but there's a song we sing, and it goes, I love myself so much that I can love you so much. Then you can love you so much that you can start loving me. Go ahead, Karen.
You know what I'm going to say now, don't you? I'm going to tell, I have her singing that song on video and dancing to it. It's the best. I love that song. I mean, every time she sings it, I think of that video in park. Oh my God, that was so fun.
That's such a good
I
time.
love to be reminded that all there is love. The Holy Spirit sees only love or a call for love. And this section that we're reading right now, it's coming from the very first question in the workbook. What is forgiveness? And forgiveness and the miracle are basically the same. And it's an expression of love, changing our mind from fear to love. And all these lessons are about love. All of them, every single one. I mean, God is with me. I live and move in him. That is love. God is my life. I have no life but his. That is love. God is my father and he loves his son. This is reminding me of the Song of Prayer, that endless harmony of the Father and the Son. And then he goes on to say, God is my father and his son loves him. My home awaits me. I will hasten there. It's love. It's all love. I mean, I just love it. I mean, because if you really look with Holy Spirit and you think with the Holy Spirit, that's all there is. There is nothing else. And when I'm in that right mind, that is literally all I see. So I'm not always there, but man, when I'm there, it's better than any high I ever had. Tell you that. Better than any high I ever had. Thanks.
It's all love. It's all one. It's all. How can, if the Father and the Son are one, how can I not love the Father? How can the Father not love me? Love is here, and tag. You are it. You are it. If I could just remind myself on a regular basis, I am love. I'm love. You're love. Oh, that's love. That's love. It's funny, in fact, as I'm saying that, somewhere within the last week, I read or heard someone say, "Love everything," and I thought, "Everything." Oh, and I went, "UGH." Oh, oh, everything. That means including, the right? And I thought, you know, that's a thing, because if instead of telling me, "Oh, I don't like doing this," I'm frustrating myself that much more. What we resist persists, right? So if I'm telling myself, I don't wanna, oh, I'll just put it off. It's going to be there, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be there until I finally decide to do it. Yes, Karen, love everything is synonymous with letting all things be exactly as they are, because then I'm not judging it. Exactly. I'm not judging it. That, is a judgment. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. That's horrible. Oh my God. That's going to take so much time. That's time consuming. Oh, I don't want to. See, it, the chorus for me does not just apply to people. It doesn't apply to just my brother. There are places in the chorus where, um, numerous places in the chorus where I can, hmm, if judgment is about anything. And I guess the only way I can, if I wanted to look at it where it does include my brother, is like, okay, let's say I don't want to, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to declutter this box right here. I don't want to. The contents of that box was made, physically made by someone, my brother. So if I look at it that, if I wanted to go that, if I wanted to go that deep, that everything was, was made by something or something, But the bottom line, it's all about judgment. It's all about judgment. And one brother, that's right. One brother is all brothers. It's all one, right? Lo? It's all one. It's all one. There's no separate. This isn't separate. It's just not. I want to think it is, but it's not. Lynn, are you close by enough to play a song for me while I need a bio break. So say 10.
Absolutely. I'm right here.
I'd
So,
like to
yeah.
hear I'd like to hear Relax, Let Go, Release, and Surrender by Karen Drucker.
Okay.
And I'll be right back, family.
All right. Let me see if I can get that up. And I don't think Karen Drucker will be minding if we play her song, right? All right. So here we go. Go to share. I'm going to share the computer sound only. And that way we won't have the whole video. There we go. No, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, there we go. There we go.
I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. And every day I affirm and pray that I'm blessed with everything I have. I release my fear, 'cause it's all so clear. I am held, I am loved, I am safe. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I am well, I am well, I am well. And now I see what my life can trust and have faith. And now I know when I just let go that I have all I'll ever need. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I am well, I am well, I am well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. I am well, I am well. All is well, all is well. I am well. Ooh-wee.
I thank you. Thank you. I got to hear most of the song. I ran. I have to wash my hands. I didn't dry them. I just kept on running. Just kept on going. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we can talk. Let's talk about surrendering and relaxing and letting go. Let's talk about forgiveness. Let's talk about forgiveness. From the Course, the Christ in you looks only on the truth and sees no condemnation that could need forgiveness. See, we think, we've been taught, you did this to me, and I forgive you for doing this to me. That to me is you proving that you're a victim. That to me is proving that you're little. That to me, oh, that's what I was sharing. I'm not sharing. That to me, oops, wait a minute. Hold on. Stop sharing that. Share that. Do you see passage from the Course in Miracles on your screen? No, I don't see it. Let's start again. All right.
We did see a lesson, and then we saw something else come up that was
Okay, there it is. I see it. Okay.
Christ mute.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, there.
Okay. Yeah, we think that we have to forgive others for what they did. See, if you hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have. See, and that me saying that is me making you responsible for what I think and what I feel and what I do. What I do comes from what I think, and in between there, what I do comes from what I feel, and what I feel comes from what I think. It has, and nowhere in there is you. The Christ in you looks only on the truth and sees no condemnation, none that could need forgiveness. He is at peace. That's the Christ in you, is at peace because it sees no sin. Identify with him. And what has he that you have not? What does he have that you have not? What's it say in what can there be in us that needs forgiveness? The sentence before that. Forgive us our illusions, Father, and help us to realize and help us accept our true relationship with you, in which there are no illusions and where none can enter. Our holiness is yours. Our holiness, my holiness, is God's holiness. Your holiness is God's holiness. What can there be in you What can there be in us that needs forgiveness when that holiness is perfect? Holiness is wholeness. The Course says holiness is a sign of wholeness. So what can there be in you that needs forgiveness when when God's wholeness, your wholeness is perfect? You are everything. You have everything. Wait, my brother, I'm not talking about me now. My brother is everything. My brother has everything. My brother is whole. So, and I'm whole. I see no sin. I'm at peace because I see no sin. Identify with him, because what has he that you haven't? What? It's not possible. There's no and. How many times can I say that? Hey, hello, the Christ in you. The Christ in you. And we're not talking about Jesus, by the way. We're not talking about a person. Let's be clear. The Christ in you. The Christ consciousness in you, the truth of what you are, the recognition that you are spirit, the spirit that you are is your eyes, your ears, your hands, your feet. It's everything. It's everything. And again from the Course, hear the words I speak and give them to the world. You are my voice, my eyes, my feet, my hands, through which I save the world. The capital S self from which I call to you is but your own. It's you. It's always you. We, we, hmm. We're looking for different. Back to that. God is my life. I have no life but His. Unlovable. No, please, dear. Not on my tablet. Thank you. What's the matter? You lay back there? Hmm? You going under? Here, go under. There we go. Yes. Yeah, it's funny about this dog. He goes from one side. Let me see. There he is. There he is. Now under my a sarong, because he has to have something that smells like me near him, right? But he goes. He was on that side, and now he's on the other side. He just goes from one side of the sofa together and just repositions himself. Anyway, um, so it's always just you. I may call a name, but it's still me. It's me recognizing, me observing, me thinking, me listening, me talking, me being, me wondering, me asking, me hurting, me crying, me everything. It's always just me. Appreciating everything that I think I'm seeing, everything that I think is out there, and appreciating it, because the only way I can appreciate myself is to appreciate everything that I think is out there. The only way I can appreciate everything that I think is out there is by first appreciating self. Seek ye first the kingdom, and all else is added unto you. All else, everything I see out here is coming from within. That's a darn it 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 gives me that sense of responsibility, the recognition that I am responsible for all of it. Oh my. I was walking lovable this morning. That's the very thought. I was walking lovable and I said, man, I created this. I made this. Look at what I made. I made this doggy. I made this driveway. I made this grass. I made the neighbor who waved hello and smiled. I made the doggy down the street who's his bestie. All of it. I made it. I'm going to stick with forgiveness, though. I just said I was going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. And part of the forgiveness process comes from our holding on to the past. And let me see. No, I think I'm going to go with Joel Goldsmith first. Joel Goldsmith writes in The Thunder of Silence, there is really no such thing as one person forgiving another, or God forgiving us. There is only a, quote, dying daily, close quote, to the state of consciousness that accepted good and evil and acted from that premise, which goes back to what Mickey was saying this morning. Oh, Mickey, thank you. What Mickey was saying about the tree, that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's impossible. That was the whole point. It was impossible, because that would say that there is good and there was evil. Because if in the beginning, and that's a great story, that if that's when that story was written, that story was saying that there was only God, there was only good. That's it. So to think that there's good and evil, you've just decided that there's something other than God. No es posible. It's not possible. And I love it. So where'd you get that notion that you were naked? And what's wrong with it? But where did you get the notion? Where'd you get that from? You made up that there was something wrong with being the way you were created. And that's our problem. I think there's something wrong with me because somebody told me that I should be like, because somebody told me that I should be ashamed of myself, because somebody told me that I'm not as good as because somebody told me that I'm a child. As a child. There's a fly in here. I swear I'm going to take care of that. And it's bothering my dog. And I'm wondering why he's jumping, which of course concerns me when he does the jumping thing, right? So there we go. That whole thing. The domestication is what Don Miguel Ruiz calls it in the Four Agreements. The domestication. And I took it personally. I was told that I wasn't this. Or my mother told me she wanted a boy. Oh gosh. Maybe that's why, sometimes I think that's what a boy would think. Anyhow, but that belief that there's something wrong. It's good and evil. Okay. There is only a dying daily to the state of consciousness that accepted good and evil and acted from that premise. And when that old consciousness has been purged or is thoroughly, quote, dead, close quote, we come to a place of self-completeness in God. What was that lesson you just read, Karen? I live and move in God, or I live and have my being in God. Something like that. In the Bible, it reads, we live, move, and have our being in God. And I believe that lesson takes part of that and calls it that. That we live, but we live in God. We move in God. We have our being in God. What else is there? So when that old consciousness has been purged or is thoroughly, quote, dead, we come to a place of self-completeness in God, where we know I and the Father are one, and all that the Father has is mine. I am a child of God, an heir of God, and joint heir with Christ in God. Then we can look out on this whole world and with our new vision, behold a world in which there is nothing, where there is not a thing anyone has that we want. There is no sin anyone could commit for which we would hold him in condemnation, criticism, or judgment, knowing full well that the state of consciousness that did it was not really his, but an imposed one. And by imposed, this is Joel Goldsmith, by imposed, I mean a consciousness under the sway of world beliefs and subject to the universal ignorance which characterizes human beings. We call it race consciousness in religion, in science of mind, religious science, race consciousness. Race consciousness. The weather starts changing. Oh, the weather's changing. I know I'm going to catch a cold. Flu season. That's race consciousness. There are some people who are just scared to death of the weather changing because it's flu season. Oh my. Race consciousness. And these beliefs that that a lot of people have about this one thing, we make it up. And then we have to make it so, because the self-fulfilling prophecy does that. When we are fully and completely aware that I and the Father are one, and when we no longer have any desire for person, place, thing, circumstance, or condition, we are reborn of the Spirit. Wow. We talked about that earlier. Seeking wildly for things. I was looking for salvation in that person. I looked for salvation in that thing. I just knew that, this is my saving grace is going to be such and such. That's strictly idol worship. When we come to the state of consciousness that realizes that self-completeness in God, so that we truthfully can live in the full and complete realization of fulfillment without a trace of desire or need, there is no block between us and the inner source of our being, and consequently, no block of condemnation, criticism, or judgment, no unfulfilled desire, no greed, lust, or anger. There is only the realization that we are at peace with the Father and with all mankind. I'm going to right there go into, I was talking about forgiveness, but I'm going to look at it just from this point, and then I'm going to go, because I just realized what time it is. From the Course. Can it be up to you to see the past and put it in the present? You cannot go back. And everything that points the way in the direction of the past, but sets you on a mission whose accomplishment can only be unreal. And I bring that up because in the Course, it talks about the special relationship. And the special relationship, it always involves the past. Always. See, you used to, yesterday you told me that you would, it's all based on the past. So then we get all up in all up in arms about a thing that's not happening in the past, and then we get angry about it, and then we want to blame somebody for for the way we feel about it, because they're not doing it the way they're supposed to, the way we think they should, and all that. Past. How can you change the past except in fantasy? And who can give you what you think the past deprived you of? I love this. Actually, I think I want to do this. I want to save this for next week, because this was actually going to be a theme in itself, the past. I think I want to do that. I'm going to stop share for now and see how else I can do this, how else I can finish this. I'll go back to forgiveness. All right. Okay. Let's go to forgiveness from the Course. And we'll end it with this. Forgiveness is the great release from time. It's the key to learning that the past is over. Madness speaks no more. There is no other teacher and no other way. Remember that? Daily. There's only one teacher. Anything else is a complete failure. For what has been undone no longer is. And who can stand upon a distant shore and dream himself across an ocean to a place and time that have long since gone by? How real a hindrance can this dream be to where he really is? In other words, be here now. Let all things be exactly as they are. This is the only moment that is. This is it. For this is fact, where he really is. This is fact, and does not change whatever dream he has. Yet can he still imagine he is elsewhere and in another time? In the extreme, he can delude himself that this is true and pass from mere imagining into belief and into madness, quite convinced that where he would prefer to be, he is. Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to use my neighbor next door as an example. The evening before, the day before his son passed, he talked to him. He talked to him the evening before, maybe less than 24 hours before. In Wish World, he would have known that something is not right. He would have known and would have said just the right thing to prevent that thing from happening. He would have known that there was a plan. He would have known, and he would have saved his son. But that's not real. In the extreme, you can delude yourself that this is true and pass from mere imagining into belief and into madness. We call it crazy, right? Cray. Into madness, quite convinced that where he would prefer to be, he is. Preferring to be in the day before, saving his son. And every day from that point on is just, la-di-di-da, perfect. It's a mistaken belief that could lead us down such a path of pain and misery. And then we want to blame the situation that occurred once. So the man, he made a decision, acted on his decision, and his physical cares and worries are done, gone, over. So it's up to my neighbor to forgive himself. And that's what this passage was gently what I was talking about this morning. Forgiving himself. Enough of that. Forgive yourself as I forgive myself for whatever I think is supposed to be different than the way it is. Let all things be exactly as they are. Because peace resides here, right now. And now is the only aspect of time that has meaning. And with that, then, I'm so glad I'm able to be here now. But, Lynn, here's the mic. Thanks, family, for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Zulma. What a beautiful sharing. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm going to play a song. And I don't know, Mickey, if you want to come on now or you want to wait for half an hour, which you're absolutely encouraged and allowed to do. So
I think I'll wait
okay.
and
All right.
get myself together, brush my teeth. I still haven't brushed my teeth. I need to do that.
God, you're now I don't know if I can talk to you anymore. But you look like you're still sleeping there. So anyway, I'm going to play a song and then I'm going to play Namaste Village from yesterday. So this is a song that reminded me, and Karen actually put it in the room. So here we go.
God is with me. I live and move in Him. God is with me. He is my source of life, the life within, the air I breathe, the food by which I am sustained, the water which renews and cleanses me. He is my home wherein I live and move. God is with me. I live and move in Him. He is the Spirit which directs my actions. He offers me His thoughts and guarantees my safety from all pain. He covers me with kindness and with care, and holds in love the sun He shines upon. Also shines in Him. How still is He who knows the truth of what He speaks today. Father, we have no words except Your name upon our lips and in our minds, as we come quietly into Your presence now, and ask to rest with You in peace a while. God is with me. I live and move in Him. God is with me. He is my source of life, the life within.
I don't know what happened here. It's just stopped. It's still playing. There we go. What happened? So it is still playing. Oh, maybe my Zoom went down. No, looks like I still have. Oh, it says Zoom quit unexpectedly. Duh. Okay, it's coming back up. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's always something, isn't it? Let's see. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop the YouTube because I'm having a hard time getting things coming up. So Anyway, thank you all for being here with us today. We are here almost every day. Basically, yeah, we are now because Bob's on Wednesdays. Anyway, thank you all for being here, and join us on Pal Talk or YouTube or Zoom, and the links are in the YouTube